Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to another Vampire the Masquerade Rivals expandable card game expansion. This is the heart of Europe. So what this is a little bit different than the other expansions. So instead of adding brand new clans to the deck, it's adding a brand new city deck. So now you can play in Prague instead of San Francisco. So ideally what you're supposed to do then is just swap out one city deck for the new one. Just gives you new cards to play with, new different things to interact with. If you are playing in tournaments, there's recommend, at least it says in the instructions, you should always play like the brand newest one, which actually there's one more that came out after this in the new core set, Hunters, and Hunters has Rio de Janeiro. And if you watch this video even farther in the future, there might be 3 or 4 more after that. Who knows? Hopefully they keep making them. But if you're playing at home, you can constantly switch around, or casual games, you can switch different ones back and forth. But just at least adds up a little bit different flair. It'd be kind of neat if they make more of these, if they start doing like randomizers. So then that way you could start a game off, randomly pick one of them, and then players wouldn't know what deck they're playing, so they can't build their deck to counter whatever city they're going to be in. That would be a very interesting strategy. So they kind of have to, so especially if you start getting 3, 5 different city decks, you don't know what you're going to be playing in. That might be interesting. Or on the verse, you're playing a tournament, you know exactly which one you're playing and you know what to set up for. Also, is going to include 96 card Crypt deck, which has cards for the original 10 clans. So this is all the clans that came out before this will have brand new cards, which will include 2 new vampires. We're gonna have some new havens, some new agendas, some new clan-specific cards, some new generic cards as well. So yeah, even if you don't really care about having the new city portion of it, it's definitely worth picking up for all the additional cards. We're also going to get a set of tokens, which will have fear and -1 blood potency, depending on a lot of stuff, so just some extra here. Fear says they're not ready at the start of your turn, so you just get some more of those. We're going to hop into the rule book first, make sure there's nothing specific in there we need to know about. There are rule updates. When a triggered ability is triggered during another action or event, resolve the effect immediately before continue the action or event. This reverses the FAQ entry acknowledges power in Blood and Alchemy and City Park and in Werewolf and Grats, I believe. I'm not sure that one. So that all trigger effects now work at the same time. We're adding a new step to the attack sequence. 2A, players may activate abilities at this time. This allows players to use abilities, including relentless ones, before the defender has to make any choices. Yeah, so just a little update there on just how some of that will work. New concepts and keywords. Curses. Any card attached to your vampire by another player is a curse. These include crossbows, veiled threat, and several other cards in the set. It doesn't matter where the card came from, only matters who controls the effect that attaches the card. Card does not need to have the curse keyword. It could be a curse. In fact, none do. Often these cards will attach face down. You cannot remove a curse unless the effect allows you to. When a cursed vampire goes into tempor, places all attached curses at the bottom of their owner's discard pile. If a cursed vampire is burned or suffers diabole, remove the curse from the game as usual. Curses conquers the 3 attach limit on a vampire. So basically, anytime you attach a card to another player's character, it's a curse. And that's basically you're limiting what they can do. Maybe it's giving them a harmful action. We got fear tokens, which, very done, but it's slightly reworded to be more clear. We now change next turn to your turn. So only resolve at the start of your own turn. Doesn't require you to remember when the token was applied. So it's just slightly changing what it says on the back. It's just at the start of your turn, they'll go away versus the start of the next turn, which could get confusing, like whose turn it is. Alright, so solo attacker. This is a modified attacker tag. Require the vampire to be in a party with no other vampires in order to take advantage of it. If there's at least one other vampire in the party, ignore this text. Makes sense. Titles. To save space, the top line of the title will now simply say exert X influence to attack. X will always be a number indicated in this influence cost, and it's still a one-time effect to attach the card. It will no longer be written using the cost effect template, which is to help players remember that influence comes from multiple sources, not just the acting vampire. So I wonder if I have a title card here. If I can find one quick to show how that worked. Nope. Yep, right here. So now it's going to say exert 2 influence to attach. And that's just, yeah, that's the one thing the game is doing overall. Like, starts off with, like, reminder text, and then they're just trying to slowly update, make things a little bit easier to figure out. So we have traps. These are cards you place face down. Place prestige on similar conspiracies. However, instead of getting out of the gun, you can spring them as a surprise on your foes. And we'll look over those a little bit more when we get to one of those. On empty, burn this. Or when empty burns. To save space, will no longer print these words on ongoing cards. If a character card you have uses tokens to activate and remove certain triggers, it has no tokens, burn it. So, instead of, again, having that reminder text every time having to put, if you run out of tokens, get rid of it. It's just assume that once something no longer has tokens, it no longer stays out. There's also a 5-card errata pack. So 5 cards from this course that have been fixed. Not with some of these small text, but actually bigger things. And we'll look over those when we get to the end of the video. Alright, so we have the actual Prague City deck. This actually moves from the new world to the old world. Players should typically use the latest city decks. Assume you're playing a Prague until a new city deck is released. If the issue is different in their home game, they should all agree prior to deck construction. This is, again, like I was saying, it'd be kind of neat if you had a way to, like, surprise people with it. But this is so you can specifically plan for certain cards in there. The citizens and vagrants are similar to those found in the San Francisco deck. One change can be found among citizens. If you use the burn option, you'll choose between mending 3 or gaining 1 prestige. Attachment works the same as before, so you just add some different stuff in there. We also have Team X operatives. The Second Inquisition Holy Warriors seek to exterminate vampires, have power of the faith to back them up. To save space, we've removed the when defeated gain 1 agenda and discard this. However, since the agenda icon still appears under their blood, you still earn 1 agenda when you defeat it. So again, simplifying it by, hey, this is what you're going to get for it. We just don't want to keep having to reprint that extra text all the time. It says when you defeat a Team X operative, it is discard the city deck, discard pile, return once it runs out. So the Team X operatives work a little different than Special Affairs Division. So they're all part of Second Inquisition, and they're all antagonists, but they're different groups. When they enter the streets, stacking together with other Team X, already in the streets, the number of cards stacked is obviously all players. This does not constitute a party. During the antagonist step, they have resolve, and it'll say, if there's 1, they'll deal 1 aggravated. 2, they'll deal 1 aggravated and discard a card. 3, they deal 1 aggravated and discard a card and deal 1 aggravated. And if you have 4, it does all that, plus you lose a prestige. So basically, if you let them pile up too much, you're going to take a lot more hits from them. So each instance of Team X damage may apply to a different vampire in your coterie. If you apply both to the same, it is applied as a 1 packet of 2 aggravated damage as 2 separate instances. Do not resolve every Team X. They should be removed. Team X should be removed from the stack to form a new stack. Each different stack resolves separately. So if you have all 4 in the stack together, they're going to hit for that 4 ability. But if you have 2 and 2, then they can only do 2. Alright, so we didn't really get into traps yet. So traps are placed face down near your haven, and you place 1 prestige from your personal supply on it. They're indistinguishable from conspiracies at this point, and you never need to declare if you're placing a conspiracy or a trap. However, traps are not revealed to your foes, and to your foes to get them to contribute. You're on your own. Just like the conspiracies control over trap may add 1 prestige from their personal supply during their subsequent turns. Traps affects Occupant using their foes turn to wreak little havoc. Trap cycle doesn't resolve at any time during a player's turn, but only if the triggered event. So if it says during an attack, you can go at any time during a player's turn if they've attacked. But not just any time, no matter what. Whereas conspiracies, you can generally flip over whenever. Yeah, so that's basically how those work. Then there's card specifications, and we don't need to go into all of that. So let's hop in and look at the deck. So we're going to start the back. It's going to have a green back with like a castle on there, as opposed to San Francisco, which is blue with the bridge. This is so you can tell them apart fairly quickly. And then we're going to start off looking at our cards. So we're going to start with a House Divided, event ongoing. Each character in their haven is a separate party. Sometimes the wall one puts up are constructed entirely of one's own hubris. Yeah, this would definitely be a very powerful effect, being that it will make everyone in the haven have to act separately. It might stop some abilities. We have the Sword of God. Ongoing, all characters always have 0 secrecy. The first time you defeat a Team X operative during your turn, gain 1 prestige. Tipped off. Place no player tokens on this one revealed. Ongoing action, influence, conflict, steam. Interesting. So it's a steam that is being played by the city. It says, should I move 1 second Inquisition from the streets to the next to the haven of target player? Choose now, then burn this card. Interesting. So this basically stays out, but yeah, it's an action. Influence, someone can spend an action on this during the round or whatever to activate this steam. Yeah, neat. That's kind of a cool idea. Artistry measures. Just a regular event. Each player who controls +2 attachments burns 1 of them. Titles, attached vampires, and curses cannot be burned this way. Because there are things that generally stay on when they move from into Kapor. So you get stuff that gets rid of it. Temporary truce. Ongoing leaders may not perform attack actions. Everyone is watching the clan leaders, leaving their underlings free to make the names for themselves. Racing the clock. Ongoing, at the start of your turn, you may exhaust the highest blood potency character in your coterie who is ready and put a fear token on them. If you don't, lose 1 action this turn. Oh, so that's going to suck, because then they won't untap during the next turn. Walpurgis Knight. Ongoing, during your turn, you may pay 1 blood from 1 character in your coterie, put a fear token on target character. Helpful. Liberate. Ongoing, when your attacker defeats a character, you may attach 1 of the defeated character's retainer to the attacker. Just stealing their find. Bohemian Carnival. In clockwise order, each player may pay 1 blood from a character in their coterie. Choose 1 card in the city deck burn pile and shuffle it into the city deck. Oh, so you could bring back some of the, maybe possibly an event or an ongoing thing, or lots of the mortals. Nice. Midnight Curfew. Discard all unattached citizens in the streets, then shuffle the city deck, discard pile back in the city deck. Supposedly to curb drunken behavior, but to the kindred, it means a short window for dinner. Nice, because it gets rid of all the cities, all the characters. Then we have Prince of the City, which is going to work just like the San Francisco one. This just has Prague listed. I believe, though, it might have a different effect. Let me grab the other one and check quick, since I have it sitting right here. Yes, this is kind of neat. So this one says your attack title gains 2 agendas. Character secrecy is always 0. Has +4 influence. So the San Francisco one, as a comparison, you only get 2 influence, but at the start of your turn, you gain 1 prestige and 1 agenda. So the Prince of the City, you're going to gain stuff every turn in there, so you can kind of plan for that. This one, you're just going to have 4 influence, but you're not going to gain stuff consistently. But having that 4 influence means you can do scheming and conspiracies and stuff like that to evolve influence a lot easier. So that's cool. I like that they're different. We have 4 copies of Team X Operative, who has 4 health. And then we basically explain what their card does. First and third operative deal 1 aggravated. Second, discards, and fourth, you lose 1 prestige. In each location, stack all Team X operatives, resolve only the top card. Alright, then we have our citizens. So we have a bunch of brand new ones here as well. We have the Butcher. When defeated, gain 1 agenda. Then choose 1. Burn to mend 3 or gain 1 prestige. Attach, gain animalism, dominant, discipline, and +1 blood point. The Streetwalker, when defeated, gain 1 agenda and either mend 3 or heal, or draw 1 and gain obfuscate. Medium, defeat and burn are the same. Draw 1 and gain oblivion. Bartender, to the attack, is gain fortitude and 1 blood point. Potency, I keep saying none. During the attacking, you get +1 during attacks, +1 defense. Taxi driver, the attacking gets you +1 intel. The graffiti arter, the attacking gets you +1 secrecy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we have the 5 vagrants, which, when defeated, choose 1 to burn, to mend 2, or exhaust. Attach to exhaust vagrant, prevent 1 damage to this character. Yeah, so this is really neat with the different citizen stuff. This is, although I like the fact there's different decks, I can see the idea of it, especially for like tournaments, because that way, you're going to a tournament, you're like, okay, we know we're using this deck. I know I have to like kind of plan for it. I can play test it ahead of time. Even for casual games, kind of same idea. So you can kind of plan if you're fighting the SAG or the X agents, or or the Team X, different stuff like that. I wish, or it'd be kind of neat to have even just maybe in your home games, put the backs have the same like opaque back sleeves on there, and then be able to mix them up. I get to having them too big means finding the prints might be a little bit harder, or it might break maybe lore, because why are you doing something if you're in New York, San Francisco, might be something interesting there. But it'd be neat to be able to have both cities and mortals, maybe even play like a 2-deck city where your characters can go back and forth, but they have to maybe go to their haven first, or maybe make a rule like that, like you can visit a second city, like having both decks out at the same time. And especially if you're playing a 4 or 5 player game, having characters be able to switch between different city streets and interact that way might be an interesting idea, so that way you're not always ganging up on the same area. Could be some interesting home rules for that, but that's how they are. We also get a deck divider for that, for the city deck Prague. So those are those. And now we're going to jump into our giant stack of Crypt decks. So it's like, this is actually more of the cards than the city deck was. And we're going to look at our brand new vampires. We have the Bruja. We have Sarka, who says guard. And this character may block ranged attacks. Party. When the character in this party blocks an attack, they steal 1 blood from the attacker. That's helpful. I like that we're, like, here we got some new higher ones, because if you're playing, when you're playing, whatever your highest level blood potency is, that becomes your leader. So it's nice that they're giving us some different options, because the base game, or each base game expansion, usually only had 1 character at the highest amount. So you could take them out and put a couple of lower guys in, then you'd have some options. Or if you wanted the highest one, you were stuck with that main one. So this is nice, they're giving us some different options. We have Curl. Attacker. This character has +3 influence this turn. Alright, for Toreador, we have Maya. Maya? I believe that is. Attacker. This attack deals +1 damage to the target for each event in play. Ooh, because events are only city stuff, typically. Uh, Email Haruza, who has, you may ignore city deck events. When this character defeats a mortal or a character, you may shuffle one event. The city deck burn pile into the city deck. When that event leaves play, remove it from the game. Neat. So this guys get to kind of play around with that new aspect. We have for Venture, we have Boric Wagner. At the start of your first turn of the game, reveal 2 different havens from your collection. Your rival chooses one, and you attach that haven to this character card, who gains the leader ability of that haven. That's neat. Especially the more havens you have, the more options you have. Once you see like what your opponent's playing as. We have M. At the start of your next turn, if you control 2+ havens, gain 1 prestige. If you control 3+ havens, also gain 1 agenda. So these are kind of neat because they're what these extra vampires are doing is they're letting you play extra ideas or thoughts, gameplay wise, or different elements outside of what their original deck was maybe constructed to do. So having multiple havens wasn't something the Venture really did before, but a later set that had characters that was their focus, right? They had the ability to have extra cards that let you deal with havens. So this lets you combine with them or give these guys the option to use some of those effects. So it really helps like mix and match some of these cards. For Mavelkian, we have Renee Koba. When you play a card face down outside of an attack, mend 1 blood for a character in your coterie. And then we have Perseus. Attacker. This card deals +1 damage to the target. The target's controller discards 1 card for every 4 cards they have in their hand. Ooh, so it's gonna like hurt people for having extra cards. Tremere, we have Alistair. Attacker, discard 2 cards. The attack deals +4 superficial damage to the target, so it cannot reduce it below 1. That's pretty darn powerful, right? So you can drop them way down. And then we have Susanna, who has Guard, and when this character blocks an attack, replace 1 blood on the attacker with 1 color from your general supply. Ooh, and this can work well with not the blood sorceries, but the blood rituals, like the other rituals. The obfuscation rituals can use these as well. Blood rituals can use these, sorry. But yeah, that's a neat extra effect there. We got 2 new Thing Blood vampires. Monica. Exhaust 1 character in his party. Put a -1 blood potency token on a character in the streets who does not have one. And then we have Jan Zubek. The first time a 1 or 2 blood potency character in your coterie enters to pour during each player's turn, the foe gains no agenda for defeating them. Ooh, that is really powerful because he does have a lot of 1s and 2s, so basically it can eliminate the risk of having them out there. Cool. Alright, then we have Gangrels. We have Etine. Solo attacker. This character does not declare their attack type until step 8 of the attack sequence. What is step 8 off the top of my head? The attacking player reveals their attack card. That makes any other player reveal their reaction. Oh, so they don't have to tell you what type they're attacking with. They can, hey, I'm attacking you. They can play a face down card. Your opponent has to guess their reaction if they want to defend against it. That's pretty crazy. DN Solo Attacker. Play up to 2 attack cards before revealing. If you play 2 cards, return 1 to your hand. If you play 1 card, you may reveal it or return it to your hand. That's also a really neat attack effect. Because then you have 2 different options on how you want, like, oh, I have this and this. And then you can be like, aha, I don't need this one because they didn't play a reaction or they're not going to be able to block enough. So you can return 1. Or if you just played 1, it's the same idea. You can be like, I don't really need this. They didn't block it. I don't need the extra attack. I can go ahead and put that card back and save your attacks. That's pretty sweet. For Nosferatu, we have Thora. Says the first time you play a card face down and place Prestige on it as part of that action during your turns. Gain 1 action. Oh, so we're playing like traps would be a good one for that. Or conspiracies. Where you basically get to replay that. And then we have Omnis. When you resolve a trap with +2 prestige on it, return that card to your hand. Ooh, reusable traps. That's fun. Los Sombra. We have Camilla. Attacker, put a no-influence target on token. Token on target. Ooh, shuts them down. That could be very helpful. And Sebastian. Attaching a title from your hand to this character costs 0 influence, then ready this character. Wow, because there's some of those cards that really want to have a lot of influence, like 3 or 4. That can really get hard to pull off sometimes. The Hikadas, we have Roman Monstrum. Reach, he may attack characters in the street from their haven. Detach 1 curse from target character and choose one. Put a fear token on the target, or the target loses 1 blood point. So this could be interesting, because obviously it's supposed to be the idea is you put a curse on another player, and then you can remove that curse to do stuff to them. But maybe it might be worth putting a fear token or losing a health to get rid of a curse that's on you. So I love that there's open-ended there. Anjali the Samadi, who in Tempor says attach the top card of the target player's library face down to a character in their coterie with 2 or fewer attachments. If this is his first attachment, draw 1 card. Alright, so this could work well, because again, it could be considered a curse on one character because it's based down on them. But you could also use it to, like, boost attachments if your character needs them. Alright, so those are all different vampire clans. So there are a few currently that we didn't get to. I think the only ones we didn't get to were the Banu Hakim and the Silabri. I think those are the only 2. 1, 2, 4. Also, Tizimis and Ravenos. So those are the 4. There's 4 groups we didn't get to by the time this came out, but I'm sure they'll have more cards and upgrades in later sets as well. Alright. So only downside there is that means up to this point, every Crypt pack has had the same amount. Now, as of this coming out, not including promos or other things like that, 4 vampire groups have 2 less options than everybody else. But that's kind of how it's sort of going to be if you keep every time you're releasing stuff and you don't release the exact same amount for every character, which does happen with some of the promo packs. We have some new havens here. We have Old Rail Station. Characters attacking your coterie deal -1 damage for each -1 blood potency token on them. So this could work well with a couple of different characters. And then we have the guard tower. Guards in your coterie have +1 little blocking. Neat, so we get rid of the secrecy ability for something different. Guards in your coterie deal +1 damage to blockers. At the end of your turn, ready 1 character in your coterie. So that's cool. Now we only get 2 new ones of that. We don't get 1 for every group. But that's fine. These are supposed to be new havens that kind of represent generalized, I would say, like Prague. We also get 2 new agendas. We have Disheveled Shelves. If your rival's library has no cards in it, you win the game. If you would cause a foe to discard cards, you may have that foe draw that many cards instead. Oh, that is cool. That's the first agenda that does not have agenda 13 to win. And it plays in a more of a stereotypical making someone draw all their cards. That's really cool. I love that. Full of surprises. The first time resolve a trap during each player's turn, gain 1 prestige or 1 agenda. That's neat too. And a trap-based one. Any of these kind of get more specific where they have like traps or conspiracies, or they rely on certain things, guard keywords. Those are always fun because they help you make a better deck type. Alright, then we have some specific cards. for the different clans, and I am going to not remember who all these are. This was Tortador. So each character can get one new set of cards, or each clan. So we have Cover Charge. Ran out of focus here. Which is an ongoing event. Play this card into the streets and place one prestige on it of your color from the general supply. It is now considered a city deck event ongoing. For a foe to attack a character with the sunburst symbol, that foe must first give you one prestige. That is neat. So you play it, and now it's in the city, and it affects everybody. And if they want to attack you, they have to give you money. That's kind of cool. We have the Bruja. We have voter suppression. All these are going to have 3, so I'll just assume that without having to keep saying it every time. Unhosted action. Ongoing. When a character exerts influence against the scheme you play, that character loses 1 blood point. Exhaust. A target character in your coder has +1 influence during this action or event. Neat. Yeah, that's kind of cool. So if someone tries to exert against you, it's going to hurt them. So this could definitely help you win some schemes. Form of Velkian, we have bank error in your favor. Conspiracy. This card is +2 prestige on it. You may resolve it during your turn. Target foe who did not contribute draws 3 cards. Yes, this is kind of punishing him for that with that one agenda. This works really well with that. Because it can definitely hurt them for making them draw cards. This could also be an interesting conspiracy. I'm trying to think of how you could use this against somebody else. I wonder if you could use it in reverse psychology, like reverse kind of order, instead of normally you like, hey, so this card helped me out with it. Look at somebody else, you can show them the card and be like, yeah, you want, like, target, what if we, like, hey, if I, hit you with this, like, maybe, like, you'd somehow secretly tell them, like, hey, I can target you with this, just don't place any prestige, and you can kind of agree with them. That might be an interesting way to do that. We have the Ventru here, who have property developer action. Pay 1 prestige. Attach 1 haven from your collection to your leader. They have the leader abilities of that haven. Nice. More cards that let us pull those out. We have the Tremories. Blood Transfusion. Ongoing. When a character in your coterie attacks a character and does not defeat them, replace 1 blood on the card with 1 from your general supply. Very, very good. The Thin Bloods have a hidden stash. Add 4 prestige from your general supply to this card. Ongoing, you may spend prestige from this to pay for activated abilities on character in your coterie. Oh, cool. So, just free, play as an action, you get 4 extra prestige you can spend somewhere else. Very nice. We have Gangrel, who are going to get Lone Wolf. Ongoing, during other players' turns, your characters who are alone in a party have +1 defense. Your characters have solo attacker. Target has -1 defense during this attack. Nice. You gain extra defense. They lose extra defense. It's going to be really easy to take some guys out with that. Awesome. The Nosferatu has off limits. Action Trap. Resolve at any time. Target defender on the street has +2 defense during this attack for each prestige on this. Cool. So you can really boost up your defense really fast. We have the La Sombras here with Royal Bling. That's just some neat artwork there. Ongoing, at the start of your turn, add 1 agenda from the general supply to each titled character in your coterie. Oh, that's crazy. Because it's going to keep happening, and then eventually you can find a way to get that off of them. That's awesome. And then the last group we have is the Hakakas, which is Withering Spirit. Burn 1 Wraith you control. 1 damage from this card becomes aggravated. And with Oblivion, deal 1 mental damage to target character for each wraith in your coterie and each curse attached to the target. Basically, so if you're haunting them and punishing them, you get to do a lot of extra damage. Definitely fun. Alright, then we have a bunch of brand new cards that aren't linked to a clan. Again, 3 copies of each of these. Bread and circuses. Weird. Influence conflict. It's just Steam. Should I give each player a reward? If this succeeds, choose a different reward for each player. Draw 1 card, gain 1 prestige, gain 1 agenda, or they mend 2 on a character they control. Oh, this is a crazy one, right? Because normally it's like, do I do this? And then everyone can be like, yeah, I can afford to let you do that. Or no, even though I could use that, but maybe I could use that bonus as well, I can't afford to do that. This one could get very tricky because you don't know what reward you're going to get. I mean, granted, they're all nice, but if they're playing that one agenda that lets them draw extra cards, or they're getting close, someone else is getting close to prestige win, there could be some very different, interesting things there. And that might be good bargaining. You might even bargain with someone being like, if you help me win this, I'll let you pick which one you get. Or you might be like, if you get this, I will either give you the prestige or heal a character. I won't let you do the other 2. Or I might be like, if you help me, I will not give agenda to that character if this succeeds. So you could work out some interesting things there. That could be very cool. We have Prosperity. Another Steam. Influence conflict. Should each player draw 4 cards. Again, you have a lot of cards. This might help you. But there's a couple of cards in here that, like that one that lets your deck runs out. There's one that does more damage if a person has more cards. I know there's one that says if a player has 10 plus cards, it does gain extra influence. There's that. Or it could just be like, hey, I already have a bunch of cards. I don't need anymore, so I'll go against that. Interesting. Whip of the Primal Gen. Action title 1 per player. So we've already had a bunch of Primal Gen cards. Now we get the whip of them. Exert 2 influence to attack. This character has +1 influence for each of that symbol. I'm going to look that up really quick since I got my instructions right here. That is presence. Presence. Okay, makes sense. For each presence they have, at the end of your turn, remove a no influence token from 1 character in your coterie that matches this character's clan. Nice. So basically you can spend extra influence and you can help your guys not have to worry about spending them. Alright, we have Wake with Evening's Freshness. This is kind of like just running out of bed. So a ritual, blood sorcery. Ongoing and relentless, remove 1 blood from this. Move a ready character from your coterie into the streets to block a non-ranged attack against any target. Cool. So you just set up defenses ahead of time. We have spiders, which is a trap. Not an animal though, just a trap. Resolve at any time. Animalism. Put a fear token on target foe's character that made an attack this turn. Cool. We have blood poisoning. Trap. Place the space down. Resolve at any time. Obfuscate. Target foe's character that attached a retainer this turn loses 1 blood for each prestige on this card. Target bully attack. Okay, so you can really punish someone for attaching a retainer. Again, you could build this up over time. Some of the conspiracies cost 3 or 4 plus. You can usually put this up to 3 or 4, and they might still think it's a conspiracy. So that's kind of neat. Then our last regular gray action is the 4th tradition, the accounting. Attach to a target leader with 2 or fewer attachments. When another character in this leader's coterie makes an attack or uses an activated ability, this character loses 1 blood. Oh, so you're attaching it to another player, and every time they do something, it costs you. So basically, you're like, I'm paying for you to do stuff as your leader. That's neat. All right, then we have some new attacks. We have a physical attack, title fight, superficial, so it won't kill anyone, but plus damage equal to the cost of the title attached to this attacker. The prince counts as 7. Nice. So basically, the higher title you have, the more damage it'll do, but it won't defeat them 100%. We have a social attack, entrancement. With presence, target's social injury does not reduce the damage from this attack. And then we have a mental attack, psychic assault. Play this card face up. This attack cannot be blocked. Is that aspect, I believe. Reveal the top card of any player's library. Deal X damage equal to the blood potency of that card. 0 if it doesn't have one. I like the fact that we have 3 different new attacks, but they're all different. It's not like each one has the same similar type of effect. It just works towards its different attack type, but they're all very different. So that's really cool. We have some more influence modifiers. We have wild ranting. What's very interesting is outside of the core deck, there's not, in any of the current expansions, there's not been any more influence modifiers in a character's deck. So they only come in the core. So that's kind of a neat little thing. So if you want more of these, you have to get either this or a core set. Wild Rant can gain 3 influence during this action or event. If this is a scheme and your side loses, target player draws 1 card. I always like this target player. I love open-ended stuff like that. So you can target yourself. Even if your side lost, you can target yourself and draw a card. Or you could target someone else and be like, hey, you won. Draw an extra card. And they might be like, why are you helping me? So kind of interesting. We have bad optics. Gain 2 influence during this action or event. If this is a scheme and your side loses, put a fear token on target with no influence token and exhaust them. Nice. So shut someone down for trying. That's kind of cool. Then we have some reactions. We have rapid reflexes, which is a ranged and physical. Retarget this attack to any other character in the defending party. The new defender has +1 damage for each lightning bolt. They have, which is obviously celery. So kind of like, so that's kind of neat. So yeah, you get to rearrange your damage. And then our last set of new cards is Fortify the Inner Facade. It's a social and mental reaction. Play this face up. Your foe's attack card would cause you to lose or spend prestige, gain 3 first. If you have Fortitude, if not, gain 1 defense. Okay, so that's kind of cool. So basically, if they would cause you to lose it, you're going to gain the stuff first. But if you have Fortitude, so if you're playing as a character as Fortitude in your party, then you gain defense if it doesn't do that. So that works double that way. That's kind of fun as well. All right, so that is what we have for all of the new cards. So we do have some errata cards, which are basically cards that have had your text changed in some way, more than just like remove the keyword or something like that. So on the left side, I'm going to put up the brand new versions, which are from the Prague set. So we're going to have to zoom out just a little. But we have Sucker Punch. And these are all from the base game. So then we have the original version on here. So what is different on here? It reduced its damage by 1. Basically, I think they figured it was too powerful. Now, here's the thing with this. If you're playing tournaments, I believe you're going to have to use the new updated cards. Like, kind of, you get the Prague deck, you have to go. That's why they put it in the city decks. Because you buy a new deck with city cards. If they have updated cards like this, they want you to have to be able to use them. You're playing at home, you could opt to do either one or mix and match them, I suppose. I would say, though, keep it one or the other. Either use the 2 or use the 1. My personal thing is I will probably use the updated versions because they updated them for a reason, and it's changed. Like something like this is changing the attack value, so it must have been too powerful, which is why they changed it. Alright, then up next we have the agenda, Hunt the Hunters. So, originally, it said shuffle the defeated Second Inquisition into the city deck. The first time you defeat or burn them during each of your turn, gain 1 prestige and 1 agenda. Now it has changed as the first time you defeat a Second Inquisition during your turn, gain the 1 agenda and prestige, then shuffle it and any cards into the city deck, discard pile into the city. So it does change it a little bit. So it says shuffle defeated Inquisition into the deck. So it wants you to shuffle the deck first, originally. Then if you defeat them, the first time you defeat one, you gain the points. This one, you still get that the first time you defeat it. But after you defeat them, then you shuffle it and any cards into the deck. So what this is doing is now it's allowing them guys to get back, the one you just defeated gets back into the deck. Versus the other way, it's just saying anytime you defeat a guy, you shuffle them back into the deck. I think just the idea is it's supposed to be that this is if you defeat them, you get to put them back in the deck, versus the old way would be as if anyone defeated them, as long as they were defeated, they go back in. So this only lets you gain points for defeating them, not everybody. Alright, then the last one we have is the Madhouse Haven, which just changes from exhaust your leader and discard 1 card to add 1 prestige from the general supply to a face down card you control, to getting rid of the exhaust your leader ability. Which I wonder if they just figured that was potentially, again, maybe you're like, it's just too heavy of a cost to lose your leader every time you want to do this. Because you're already discarding a card, which is already a payment, and then you're also exhausting someone. It's not an extra action. So I know, that's what they have though. Alright, the only thing that does suck about these is I wish they had some way of easily be able to tell which version was which. Because now you'd have to sit there and try and figure out, oh, no, which direction was which. I mean, which set was from which. I mean, I can look back in the book, and they have the errata text in here, so I can see like what they changed on there. I was trying to see where it even said that. Specific card change, new rules, traps, important, Prague deck. Oh yeah, right here, Errata card pack. So it's just going to explain kind of what it does. Yeah, so this is Madhouse. The cost to activate was excessive for its effects, so we dropped the requirement that you exhaust your leader. So I did wish though that I get that they're not trying to like make them different, but it would be nice if by the symbol they would put like a little C or a P by it. Something just so you knew it was from the new set. Yeah, and it says, Hunt the Hunters. It made it way too easy to keep the Second Inquisition targets in the streets. There was no way to fight against the agenda card. Now this player only shuffles the Second Inquisition back into the city deck, but also shuffles any card in the discard pile back in there as well. Oh, so that's the other change they kind of made. I guess I didn't quite catch that. Yeah. So the original, you're just shuffling defeated Second Inquisition. Here you're shuffling them and any other cards in the discard pile. So they're still going to be in there and come back up, but they're not. But as you eliminate more and more cards, you're not just going to keep getting them more and more in a row. So you still got to search for them. Alright, so that's what we have for that. That is definitely neat that they added a couple of upgrade cards. Renegade Studios has been really good about do that for some of their other games like Power Rangers and stuff. You occasionally release sets that have a few upgraded where they're major changes to the cards, not just minor text. Again, like removing a certain text from a card. It's just like a reminder text. Alright, so that's the Heart of Europe. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, check out the rest of the Vampire the Masquerade Rival sets. See you guys later. Bye.